It's a pity that I cannot attend the conference in person. I'm glad to share with you my research about Tzu Chi Foundation. I'm a professor in Tzu Chi University. Tzu Chi University is founded by Tzu Chi Foundation by a Buddhist master, Zhen Yan. She founded the foundation in Hualien in 1966 on the east coast of Taiwan. With the spirit of self-discipline, diligence, and frugality and perseverance, Tzu Chi set out to help the poor and relieve suffering. Over time, the foundation's mission started with charity and extended into medicine, education, and humanistic culture. Tzu Chi originated in the remote Hualien area and expanded to all 4 major continents of the world, with chapters and offices in 67 countries. Tzu Chi provides aid to over 128 nations for 56 years. Its volunteers selflessly contribute through a mindset of gratitude, expressing their care and support to each and every individual in need. This is our master, and this is the logo of our foundation. Today my topic is teachings of the Buddha-Dharma in the era of pandemic. The vegan movement in Tzu Chi. There are 4 main sections. The first is introduction, and second is vegan movement in Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi promotes vegetarian food, not only for inner cultivation, but also for protecting life and for practice of complete love. And there are moral foundations and the humanistic ideal behind this vegan movement. The theoretical foundation is the Buddhist teaching of karma. And Tzu Chi, the practice of Tzu Chi can be regarded as a presentation of humanistic Buddhism. Now humanistic Buddhism in Taiwan is very popular. And first is introduction. While the scientific development of new vaccines coping with COVID-19 is actively carried out, different religions also provide possible explanations and solutions. The master of Tzu Chi Foundation is a case in point. She suggests the idea of great education to actively promote vegetarianism in response to the pandemic. The main way to stop the pandemic is for humans to be awakened, and the choice to be vegetarian is a crucial step. And the term vegetarian or vegan diet simply you can simply understand it as non-meat eating, food without meat. I think the definition is broad. Once you choose not to eat meat, then you are a vegetarian. You choose the vegan diet. Tzu Chi is a branch of humanistic Buddhism in Taiwan. It advocates the practice of Buddha-Dharma in the human realm. It is discouraged to ask God for salvation and resort to mystical understanding of deities and ghosts to answer the pandemic. Instead, the root of disasters will be mainly because of the deeds of human beings. This article thus explores Tzu Chi's idealistic promotion and practical action of vegetarianism in facing the pandemic. Second section, vegan movement in Tzu Chi. Among the ideals that Tzu Chi has been pursued for many years, vegetarianism is one of them. Almost every day, the master emphasized on the importance of vegan diets, suggesting that vegetarianism is not only good for our health, but also good for our environment. Being a vegetarian is also helpful to be a good person. Cultivating good deeds, kind heart, and other positive values. What the master encouragement to Tzu Chi people is to cultivate sincerity and honesty within, and to be compassionate and joyful to others. Cultivating sincerity and honesty within can be said to be a practice of self-discipline. Being compassionate and joyful to others is to be altruistic to all sentient beings around us. That is, not only illustrating the spirit of self-discipline, but also trying to be beneficial to others. This self-discipline and altruism can be realized by vegetarian diets. That is, the practice of vegan diets is both for inner cultivation and for protecting life and completed love. The pandemic demands us to control ourselves and rescue others. On the one hand, we must protect ourselves and strictly discipline ourselves. On the other, we must show love and kindness. So the vegetarianism of great education in Tzu Chi includes both dimensions of inner cultivation and action towards others, not only restraining desires and being cautious and pious, but also protecting sentient beings and being compassionate to them. Being compassionate to all sentient beings, not merely human beings. Master Zhen Yan called it a complete love, or a complete great love. Master Zhen Yan explained the importance of abstaining from the desire to eat and drink casually. Instead, she reminded us the idea that all disease come from the mouth. Virus enter into the body through the mouth, nose, respiratory tract, and then cause disease. The breaking out of COVID-19 is also because of our improper diets. For example, our indiscriminate killing of wild animals for food. Due to this greedy desire, the virus in the animals were transmitted to humans. Since it was caused by improper diet of humans, vegetarianism became a good solution to the pandemic. Master Zhen Yan said that during the pandemic, masks are always worn, in addition to protecting our mouths and nose from virus invasions. He also reminds people to be aware of our food, eat carefully, and change our unscrupulous eating habits so as to show the piety and the repentance of internal virtue of human beings. In a word, Master Zhen Yan said that the spread of the pandemic to the whole world also hints that the source of disaster is our deeds, and thus repentance and awakening should be strongly raised. All human beings are obligated to show their sincerity and fearfulness to heaven and earth, and the action of pious repentance are expressed in vegan diets, which will help to overcome the weight of pandemic with humbleness. Not only for internal cultivation, vegan diets also for protecting life and completed love. Master Zhen Yan regards vegetarianism as a kind of complete love. Complete love means if love is restricted to people, it is not enough and incomplete. Complete love includes love for all living beings and animals. It can be seen that Master Zhen Yan's concern for suffering is not merely limited to humans, but also aims to save all sentient beings. This compassionate attitude corresponds to the teachings of the Mahayana Buddhist scriptures regarding the meat-eaters, cutting off the seeds of great mercy, linking vegetarian to life protection, the practice of compassion, and the growth of the Buddha heart. Tzu Chi's vegetarian diet is like its routine practice of charity, environmental protection, disaster relief, hoping that the power of common good will reach social harmony and then eliminate natural and man-made disasters. Generally speaking, Master Cheng Yen's promotion of vegetarianism can be regarded as an appeal of Bodhisattva's compassion for the relief of suffering on this earth. In short, Master Cheng Yen leads Tzu Chi volunteers to promote vegetarianism as a possible way to lessen the harm of this pandemic. For human beings, it is a protection and regulation of our body and mind, so as to reduce our desire and purify our karma. But for animals, according to the Buddhist idea of compassion for all sentient beings, they are also conscious lives. They cannot bear the suffering of killing and torture. So we choose not to eat meat, to practice altruism of complete love. The third section is about the moral foundation and humanistic idea of Tzu Chi vegan movement. Tzu Chi is a branch of humanistic Buddhism. The master emphasized on internal cultivation rather than seeking external help. Tzu Chi's promotion of vegetarianism thus can be regarded as the application of Buddhist theory of karma. While the theory of karma and humanistic Buddhism are easily known and feasible to human beings, Tzu Chi's promotion of vegetarianism could be generalized but not limited to creeds and the stipulation of specific religious doctrines. The first subsection. The Buddhist teaching of karma is the theoretical ground of vegan movement. Tzu Chi's promotion of vegetarianism stresses on the great importance of the theory of karma. Karma refers to action, and action in Buddhism generally expressed from the performance of body, speech, and mind. According to the theory of karma, compassion without killing, but protecting life and being vegetarianism are all good deeds, and one will receive positive reward in the long run, unless the position of moral nihilism, which denies the distinction between good and evil. Karma is an easy concept to be understood and accepted. Put differently, when accepting there is right and wrong in morality, to a certain extent, the theory of karma is presumed. While we purify our mind, following our purification of mind comes to the cleansing of our living world. So it can be seen that the fate of human beings depends on the harmony of our environment. And the harmony of our environment depends on our purification of mind. And this is what Master Cheng Yen has repeatedly claimed. Hence the promotion of vegan diets in Tzu Chi community is for mental training in the face of pandemic. Its theoretical ground is Buddhist theory of karma, which could be said to be a universal thinking, but not confined to Buddhism. In Chinese philosophy, for instance, also regards virtue as the best amulet. Those who lose the protection will suffer in any possible unknown situations. The second subsection, the humanistic idea of humanistic Buddhism. Buddhist theory of karma presupposes there is a law of order in the universe, and the human behavior must correspond to it. So while a virtuous person cultivates within. He has no fear from the outside. Hence, Tzu Chi focuses on moral practice, which can be said to be a spiritual interpretation of disasters. The correspondence between human deeds and nature implies a certain correspondence between humans and animals. There's a Chinese saying, if you want to know why there are killings and wars in the world, listen to the sound of slaughter in the middle of the night. The killing and war between people can be assumed from the way people treat animals. The implementation of vegetarianism in this way can reveal the universal meaning of human nature. So that not only Tzu Chi nor Buddhism, anyone who seeks sustainable development in the future of mankind can move towards a simple vegetarian life, which highlights the characteristics of Oriental humanistic thinking. So according to the basic concept of humanistic Buddhism, first become a person, and then talk about whether being a religious believer or Buddhist. Now, humanistic Buddhism inherited by Tzu Chi is even more up to the spirit of Mahayana Bodhisattva. Protecting life also includes the care of suffering, the cultivation of compassion, the pursuit of spiritual life, and ultimately the realization of liberation. From the point of view of Mahayana Buddhism, a bodhisattva cares about the suffering of all sentient beings. They can feel and be felt. So animals can be classified as the objects of human compassion. That is, human beings are moral agents who can practice moral goodness and virtue, but animals are moral patients. They will express our morality. The reason why humans are different from animals lies in our noble behavior choice. The statement that being a human being is precious is because of these altruistic deeds. In brief, Tzu Chi's vegan movement may appear to be a religious ideal on the surface, but there is a strong ideal of humanism behind it. Vegetarianism founded on humanism may be regarded as the progress and development of mankind towards the future, symbolizing the advancement of human civilization. Now it's the last section, the conclusion. Taking this opportunity of pandemic to transform human mind has become the focus of Tzu Chi's Buddhist education in recent years, including life education, moral education, and ecological environment education. The education implies that if people are not aware of the lesson, the plague will not stop. So the reduction and cessation of the pandemic will lie in our cultivation of compassion and pure mind, and etc. Therefore, from the perspective of humanistic Buddhism, to talk about the Buddhist teaching in the pandemic era, the first priority is self-awareness in order to resonate with good karma. It can be seen that as far as Tzu Chi vegan movement is concerned, the relationship between pandemic prevention and mental cultivation through vegetarian diet is mainly based on the simple Buddhist theory of karma, which regards the proliferation of pandemic as the manifestation of negative karma, and thus the end of pandemic depends on karmic transformation. Also, the transformation of karma is also related to our mental cultivation, and vegetarianism is the key practice of cultivation of mind. In sum, there are two characteristics in Tzu Chi, in Tzu Chi's vegan movement. First, the application of the Buddhist theory of karma. Second, the practice of the Buddhist concept of humanity. These two may have a universal meaning, that may guide humankind to better development? If so, vegetarianism is right in itself, but not because of the promotion of some eminent people. Therefore, the vegan movement in Tzu Chi is not religious teaching, or not merely a religious teaching, but closer to moral teaching and humanistic teaching, and it is not limited to a particular ideological faith. Thank you for your attention.
예, 발표 감사드립니다. 지금 교수님께서
Thank you very much. Professor Chien-Te is joining us online via Zoom, so we are going to conduct our Q&A session via Zoom.
잠깐 깜빡했는데요.
I just forgot to introduce
치엔테 교수님은
Professor Chien-Te
문학회가
Chien-Te Lin, also known as Chien-Te Lin, is a professor and director of the Institute of Religion and Humanities at the Buddhist Tzu Chi University, Taiwan. His main research interests lie in Buddhist philosophy, contemporary Buddhism in Taiwan, Chinese philosophy, and comparative realism, Buddhism and Taoism. If you have any questions, please let us know by raising your hand, and Professor Chien-Te will answer online via Zoom.
¿Qué tal? Buen día. Bueno, primeramente, felicitar al profesor por su presentación.
Thank you, Professor, for your exposition.
Primeramente, quería saber qué puntos en común tiene la práctica de Han con la práctica del veganismo.
And I want to thank you. Which common grounds do we have with your Tzu Chi vegan movement and the practice of 한마음 주인공?
예, 츠지 재단의 채식 운동과 한마음 주인공 수행에 있어서 많은 공통점이 있다라는 생각이 들어 반갑습니다.
And which are these common grounds? Can you tell us some points about that?
이 둘 사이의 공통점에 대해서 조금 설명을 해주시겠습니까?
Pardon, you said the common ground for vegetarian movement, right?
Yes, and the practice of 한마음 주인공.
그러니까 질문이 한마음 주인공 수행과 츠지의 채식주의 운동 간에 있어서의 공통점을 설명해 달라는 것이죠.
Yeah, I think this is, as I mentioned in my article, it's very natural. As a human being, we don't have the privilege to dominate animals' life. And I think this idea is corresponding to nowadays the consideration of animal welfare or animal right. I think this idea is very, I think Buddhist point of view, especially Tzu Chi Buddhism, is close to nowadays the promotion of animal right or animal welfare. There are some similarity between these two sides.
예, 제 논문에서도 밝힌 바 있지만 사람이라고 하는 존재는 동물에 대해서 지배할 수 있는 그러한 특권이 있는 것이 아니라고 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 최근에는 이러한 개념들이 불교에만 있는 것이 아니고요. 동물 복지, 동물 권리라는 개념으로 해서 실제 많은 사람들이 이 이야기를 하고 있습니다. 그래서 불교의 츠지 재단의 이러한 채식 운동 역시 어떻게 보자면은 현대에서 얘기하고 있는 동물 복지, 동물 권리와 관련이 있고 이러한 점에서 많은 유사점이 있다고 생각합니다.
¿Puedo hacer otra?
Can I ask you on veganism? But in our practice of 한마음 주인공, we focus more on observing our mind in order to dissolve karma. And I think from this point they are opposite ideas. What is your opinion about this? Please, Professor.
예, 츠지 재단의 이 채식주의 운동에 대해서 설명을 하시면서 사실은 이것이 업설의 근간을 두고 있고 이 업보를 지우기 위해서 채식을 하신다라는 얘기를 하셨었는데요. 사실 저희 한마음에서는요, 오히려 이제 이 업을 이 없애기 위해서 이 마음을 삼킨다, absorbe한다, 그러한 이론들이 있습니다. 그래서 어떻게 보자면은 이 두 개가 반대되는 사상인 것 같은데요. 요것에 대해서 좀 설명을 해주시겠습니까?
Okay, thank you for your question. It seems to me that the idea of karma and the practice of mind, I think it's closely related. You know, in Buddhism, the reason we emphasize on mental training or mental observation, mental introspection, is for the sake to purify our karma. In Buddhism, that karma divided into three different parts: our body, our speech, and our intention. And in Buddhism, said that what's the key determinant factors of our karma? It is our mind, our consciousness and intention, but not our body. If we intentionally hurting some sentient being or some people, but we don't have that substantial action, we still create karma. So intentional mind is the crucial or the key factor of our karma accumulation. So I think these two ones are no contradiction, but closely related.
예, 질문 감사드립니다. 사실 이 업설이라고 하는 것과 마음을 수행한다는 것은 어떻게 보자면은 매우 긴밀하고 또 비슷하다라고 생각이 드는데요. 사실 이제 불교 같은 경우에는 보시게 되면은 특히 이 정신에 대한 훈련, 정신 수행, 그리고 어떤 내적인 성찰 이런 것들을 굉장히 중요시하고 있고, 이러한 정신 수양을 통해서 우리가 업을 달래고 깨끗하게 할 수 있다라고 얘기를 합니다. 근데 특히 불교의 업설에서는 업이라는 것이 인간의 세 부분과 관련이 있다라고 얘기를 하는데요. 바로 신체와 말 그리고 의도입니다. 그래서 이 세 가지가 이제 업을 쌓게 되는데, 특히 여기에 있어서 중요한 것이 바로 사람의 의식, 의도 혹은 생각이 있지 신체가 아니다라고 얘기를 합니다. 그래서 우리가 누군가를 해친다라고 할 때 마음속으로만 생각을 하고 실제로 행동을 하지 않더라도 그 생각만으로 카르마가 발생하는 것이다 라고 하고 있기 때문에, 결국에는 내적인 이 생각과 마음이라고 하는 것이 이 업이 쌓이는 데 있어서 큰 중요한 관건적인 역할을 한다라고 할 수가 있고, 이러한 점에서 보면 사실 이 업설과 마음 수양 사이에 있어서는 이게 반대되는 것이 아니라 비슷한 것이다, 긴밀하게 연관되는 것이다 라고 생각합니다.
Muchas gracias, profesor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
예, 감사합니다. 어떻게 지금 이제 시간이 다 된 것 같습니다. 근데 린 교수님께서 이제 이따 종합 토론에 참가를 못 하시거든요. 정말 궁금한 게 있다. 이거 질문 하나만 더 받겠습니다. 예, 스님 말씀하시죠.
We'll take one more question.
혜순입니다. 발표 잘 들었습니다. 수행하고 불교는 일체가 둘이 아니라고 불이법입니다. 우리는 한마음이라는 용어를 안 쓰고 불이법인데, 지금 동물과 식물, 인간과 전부 다 양분이 되어 있습니다. 불이법 차원에서 만약에 단백질 섭취를 위해서 그걸 먹어줌으로 해서 의식 속에서 인간이 수행적인 차원에서 의식을 높여서 인도 환생할 수 있는 그런 수행적인 차원에서 그런 가르침을 주신다면 거기에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지요?
So I really enjoyed your presentation. In the Buddhist practice, we pursue the non-duality principle, which means that the animals, plants, and human beings, we are all connected and interconnected for the existence. And in this sense, if we could take in the protein and cultivate our mind, to become a better being in the next life. What do you think about this kind of teaching? What's your take on this?
You mean that I think to be a vegetarian is not merely for our own concern. It's not only for our future life, but for the sentient beings themselves. And I think because life is suffering, and all suffering in this world is the main consideration of Buddhism. And so we can ask one question: why we can eat plants? Plants and animals both are living beings, but plants, we could say that they have no consciousness. And because suffering is the key concern of Buddhism, and so the plants, they have no obvious feelings of suffering. So we can eat animals, you can eat plants rather than animals. So I think suffering would be the key point. And I think it's good for it's true that it's interdependent. The destiny of human beings and animals and the whole environment are interconnected as the theme of this conference. So I fully agree the master you just suggested.
예, 사실상 이 채식을 한다라고 하는 것은 우리 자신을 위해서만이 아니고 또한 어떤 환생이나 내세를 위한 것만이 아니고 사실은 모든 그 지각 있는 생명체, 중생을 위해서도 채식이 필요하다라고 생각이 듭니다. 특별히 이 채식에 있어서 특히 불교에서 가르치는 중요한 가르침 중에 하나가 바로 고통에 대한 부분입니다. 그래서 왜 우리가 식물은 먹어도 되는가? 식물도 어떤 하나의 생명체인데 왜 식물은 먹어도 되고 동물은 먹으면 안 되는가? 왜 식육만 금해야 하는가라고 할 때 사실 식물이라는 것은 지각이 있는 생명체는 아니기 때문에 불교에서 얘기하는 이 고통이라는 관점에서 봤을 때 이제 식물은 어떤 자각이 되지 않기 때문에 이제 식물은 먹어도 되고 대신에 식육을 금하라라고 이야기를 하고 있습니다. 그래서 구분을 하는 것은 고통이라고 하는 것이 있느냐 없느냐라고 생각이 들고요. 그리고 또한 스님께서 말씀을 하셨다시피 사실은 이 불이법에 대해서 저희도 전적으로 동의를 합니다. 결국 우리 모두는 다 상호 연결되어 있는 것이고 공존하는 존재이고 사람과 동물과 우리 주변 환경의 궁극적인 그 목적지는 다 이제 동일하다라는 부분에 대해서는 저도 전적으로 공감하고 있습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 저희 마지막으로 질문 하나만 더 받겠는데 혹시 저기
We'll take one last question. Is there any question from Hammam Science Institute?
네, 박 교수님 질문.
예, 한마음과학원 회원 박종숙입니다. 제가 얼마 전에 사실 그 자제공덕회 유튜브를 통해서 정연 그 마스터의 법문을 접했는데 그 팬데믹 시대의 그 위대한 교육에 대해서 말씀하시는데 굉장히 힘이 있으셨고 감동을 깊이 받았습니다. 선생님께서는 발표문에서 이 자제공덕회 채식주의 운동을 소개하면서 채식주의가 자연과 인간의 몸과 마음을 정화시킬 수 있다고 하셨습니다. 하지만 채식주의 식단을 하는 데 있어서 현실적인, 그러니까 이상적이기도 하지만 현실적인 어려움이 있다는 점, 또 이제 정연 그 다시 법사도 인정을 하셨습니다. 사실 우리 같이 이렇게 평범한 사람들이 영양 균형을 위해서 소고기, 돼지고기 뭐 이런 육식을 할 수밖에 없는 이런 현실에 처해 있기 때문에 먹지 않을 수가 없는 상황에 있는 많은 이런 일반인들이 어떤 마음과 자세를 가지고 이 동물을 도축을 하고 또 그 고기를 먹어야 하는지 여쭙겠습니다.
So I am Park Jong-soo, member of the Hammam Science Center. Earlier, I watched the Master Chang-Yen's Dharma talk through the YouTube video, and it was about the great education in this era of COVID pandemic. The speech was so powerful, and I was very impressed by that video. While talking about the vegan and vegetarianism that the Tzu Chi Foundation pursues, you said that the vegetarian diet is needed to purify the mind and body of human beings as well as the nature. However, I think Master Chien-Te also acknowledged that there are a lot of practical challenges for lay people like me to practice vegetarian diet. Because for the nutrition balance, we have to take the meat, such as the beef or the pork. And also there are many situations that we cannot really avoid the consumption of the meat. So in these situations, for the general devotees, for lay people, what kind of attitude should they have when slaughtering animals and consuming and eating animals?
Yeah, I think now our scientific technology is highly developed, and those nutrition from animal protein could be replaced. So being vegetarians, we have to be a smart vegetarian. We have to eat cautiously. Doesn't imply we have to sacrifice our nutrition. Now our master is 85 years old, and he has been a vegetarian for a long time. And I think many vegetarians eat without meat, but very healthy. On the contrary, there are many sicknesses because of improper eating, too much meat. So I think that we have to try to keep a balance. To be a vegetarian doesn't imply that we will eat without the concern of nutrition. I think that would be a good way to be a very healthy vegetarian.
예, 답변을 드리자면 사실 요즘 과학이 굉장히 발전을 해서 꼭 동물성 단백질을 먹지 않더라도 얼마나든지 다양한 대치품으로 단백질을 섭취하고 영양 균형을 맞출 수 있다라고 생각합니다. 즉 채식주의자가 된다라는 것이 요즘에는 굉장히 스마트한 채식주의를 한다라는 의미가 될 수가 있겠고 결국에는 이것이 이제 함부로 먹는 이러한 것이 아닌 절제된 식생활을 하는 것과 관련이 있습니다. 실제로 저희 스님 같은 경우에도 85세이고 정말 오랫동안 채식을 해오셨는데 지금도 매우 건강하십니다. 그렇기 때문에 채식을 한다라는 것은 고기를 안 먹는다는 뜻이긴 하지만 그러나 이제 매우 건강한 삶을 유지할 수 있습니다. 반면에 인류가 겪고 있는 많은 질병들을 보시면은요, 이게 이제 잘못된 식습관, 특히 고기를 너무 많이 먹어서 오히려 질병을 겪는 경우가 많습니다. 그렇기 때문에 채식을 한다라고 하는 것이 영양 불균형이 깨지고 영양을 고려하지 않고 먹는다라는 것이 아니라 보다 현명한 대안으로 건강하게 오히려 살 수 있는 그러한 좋은 방법이라고 생각이 듭니다.
예, 아주 답변 잘 들었고요. 사실 저도 기본적으로는 채식주의자입니다. 그런데 이게 그러니까 채식주의를 하는 데 있어서의 어떤 그런 영양 불균형의 문제들이 없지는 않은데 잘 해야 될 것 같다고 생각하고요. 일단 답변 충분히 만족스럽고요. 다음에 기회가 있다면 조금 더 사실은 이런 부분에 대해서 의견을 나눌 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
So thank you very much for your answer. I myself actually practice the vegetarian diet. And as you said, I think that we have to be a smart vegetarian to have a balanced nutrition. And I hope that next time we could have more in-depth discussion on this topic.
Thank you.